Welcome back to Midnight Signal AI. It's May 27th, 2026, and today's episode is packed with frontier model news. The biggest thread is Anthropic and Claude, public access changes, security tooling, and a lot of attention around Claude Mythos. Then we'll hit Google's Gemini video push, Elon Musk's Grok 5 claims, and a few research papers that say a lot about where the field is heading.
And it's a good day to zoom out a little, because these stories aren't just product drops. They're all about control, trust, and who gets to define the next layer of AI workflows. Claude is being pushed toward broader access, but the security angle is just as important as the model itself.
Let's start with Anthropic via Crypto Briefing. The headline is a security guidance plugin for Claude Code that's meant to catch vulnerabilities in real time. That matters because coding assistants are moving from autocomplete into active software production, and the security bar has to rise with them.
That's the right framing. If a model is helping write code, then catching flaws in the same loop is a big deal. But the real test is whether teams see this as a serious security layer or just another assistant checkbox.
Sticking with Anthropic, GovInfoSecurity says Claude Mythos is getting expanded public access. That's a notable shift because restricted models often signal internal testing, careful rollout, or capability risk management. Opening access suggests Anthropic thinks the model is ready for a wider audience, or at least ready for more public scrutiny.
Public access is always a double-edged sword. It can create momentum, but it also creates a much bigger surface area for mistakes, weird outputs, and policy edge cases. That's especially true if the model is being positioned as a flagship.
And eWeek adds a more concrete claim. Claude Mythos flagged 23,000 potential open-source security flaws. If that holds up, it's a serious signal that the model is being used as a security analysis engine, not just a chat interface. Even if some of those findings are noisy, scale matters here.
Exactly. 23,000 potential issues sounds huge, but the key word is potential. In security, the difference between a useful lead and a noisy alert flood is everything. Still, it shows where model value is moving, from generating code to helping police it.
Mashable and Yellow.com are both pointing in the same direction. Claude Mythos, or something like it, is moving closer to public release. Taken together with the access expansion story, Anthropic looks like it's preparing a broader launch posture. The interesting part is that the company seems to be pairing capability rollout with safety and governance messaging.
That's the broader signal I'm watching too. Anthropic doesn't just want a model launch. It wants a credible story about responsible deployment. If it can connect access, security, and governance cleanly, that's a real differentiator.
Switching gears to Google, Geeky Gadgets is pushing a big claim. Gemini Omni is the future of AI video, and the article frames it as something to forget Seedance in comparison. The important part isn't the slogan, it's the direction. Google is clearly leaning into multimodal generation as a strategic battleground.
Video is brutal because users notice flaws immediately. A weird hand or broken motion can undo all the marketing. But if Google gets the tooling right, it could make Gemini feel much more like a platform than a chatbot.
Now to xAI. EU.36kr.com says Elon Musk unveiled Grok 5 with 1.5 trillion parameters and claimed it learned programming skills from Cursor. Another EU.36kr.com item says xAI was dissolved while Grok kept getting updated, and Musk officially unveiled a new model. The combination suggests a very Musk-style narrative, organizational churn on one side, product momentum on the other.
The cursor angle is interesting because it points to coding, not just general chat. But with claims this large, the market will want benchmarks, latency, and practical developer evidence. Otherwise, it's just another parameter headline.
On the research side, arXiv has a paper called Bodhi on precise OS kernel specification inference. The takeaway is simple. Structured prompting can dramatically improve a model's ability to turn kernel code into formal specs. That matters for verification, where correctness is not optional.
This is one of those papers that sounds narrow but actually says something broad. A better prompt can matter as much as a better model in the right setting. For safety-critical software, that's a big deal because the workflow around the model is part of the product.
Another arXiv paper asks how well models follow their constitutions. It audits Anthropic's constitution and OpenAI's model spec under adversarial multi-turn pressure and finds that newer generations do better. That's encouraging, but the paper also shows the failure modes don't disappear, they change shape.
I like this one because it cuts through the branding. A constitution is only as good as the model's behavior when the conversation gets messy. And the fact that fabricated quantitative claims are still showing up is a reminder that precision errors are not a solved problem.
One more research note. arXiv's multidimensional reasoning framework argues that accuracy alone misses a lot. It measures correctness, consistency, robustness, logical coherence, efficiency, and stability across 7 models and 975 items. The headline finding is that a correct answer can still come from incoherent reasoning.
That's the right direction. If you're choosing a model for legal, medical, or agentic work, the answer can't just be the highest accuracy score. You need to know what kind of reasoning you're actually buying.
And finally, arXiv has a domain-specific geology model family called GeoExpert. The paper says a tuned 8 billion model can beat open-weight 70 billion generalists and even proprietary GPT-4o on specialized geological reasoning. That's a strong reminder that domain adaptation still matters a lot.
That's a clean place to end. Across all these stories, the pattern is pretty consistent. Better tooling, better evaluation, and more specialization. The frontier is still moving, but the real value is getting more operational and less theatrical.
Exactly. Today's signal is that AI progress is getting more practical. Security plugins, public access shifts, better reasoning audits, and niche models that can beat bigger generalists in the right lane. We'll keep following the launches, but also the systems around them because that's where the real story is now. That's your signal. See you next time.